Hiya, this is Netty and welcome back to Rubbish Rambles. So, since I punched my mic then, I apologise. So, since last time I spoke to you, I have been to Texas and back, which was absolutely amazing. I had such a great time, although I am currently suffering. I am still seriously jet lagged. I've kind of had the kind of effects of jet lag before, but not as bad as what this is now. Like when we were back, we were kind of like, oh, it feels like kind of 7 in the evening, but it wasn't. It was like 1 in the morning. We're like having our dinner and stuff. Like it's been crazy, and just not being able to sleep, like getting into bed and just lying there for like hours on end, just like, I've got hiccups now. Just like, oh, I can't sleep. So that's been really, really tough. But it's been good. I've not gotten much work done since I've been back. I had really, really stressed out before going and got everything done. So I've actually been quite prepared this week and had all my videos ready so I could actually have a day off. So that was really nice. Although I haven't actually had a whole day off on my own yet. There's been various people here and things. So it's been a bit crazy, but it's been nice. But anyway, I'm going to tell you about Texas. So from the beginning, Tomahawk came and stayed the night before, and then we got a taxi to the airport and got there, and like Lisa and Snake Doctor and Jemima and everyone were on our flight, so that was really nice, getting to see them for a bit. We actually got to see Vu from Mojang there. He was on our flight, so that was a nice little treat. Yeah, so we flew there. We were really, really lucky on the flight. So we had like a 3-seat where there was Tom, Martin and I, and we were there, and like I'd gotten up to go to the toilet, and because I was like right on the inside, Martin got up to go to the toilet at the same time as me because he was in the middle, so we didn't have to keep asking Tom to get up. And so we were stood up and we were waiting to go to the loo, and we realised the front row seats, which were by an exit, and not just like having a little bit of extra room, but there was like no seats in front of them at all for like ages, so like a couple of meters space. And I asked the air hostess, I was like, if no one's sitting there, can we sit there? And like normally you have to pay like an extra like 100 quid or something to sit there. And I was like, can we sit there? And she was like, well, if no one's sitting there, then like, yeah, that's fine. And so then we had that seat with loads of space, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then I sat there for like half an hour or so, because it was a 10-hour flight, so it was quite a long flight to be sat down and like to be stuck in a small space. And I was like sat there and I was like, oh, if they're both here, we've got a whole row that is currently empty. So I left the boys there, and I actually went back to our original seats where I could lie down, and I had like the full length, like 3 seats. I was like properly lie down, apart from I must have kept undoing my buckle in my sleep. Like whenever I'm on a plane, like I always just leave it on, like just in case they come round, if I fall asleep or whatever, then they don't have to like wake you up, because when it takes me a while to get to sleep, but once I'm asleep I'm out. So to get woken up, it's a bit annoying because then it takes me a little while to get back to sleep. So I was like, this is great, like have my buckle on. But I must have kept undoing it in my sleep, because every time there was a bit of turbulence, the air hostess would come around, she would like wake me up and be like, please can you put your seatbelt on? But the reason of why I'm so sorry, I've got like hair on my face. The reason I'm telling you this bit of story is because every time she woke me up, it made me jump. So every time she touched me, I would wake up like, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, could you just put your seatbelt on, please? I was like, oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to react that way. Like it just panicked me where I was asleep. So that was really bad. But anyway, we got there, got off the plane, got through customs and everything, got out, and I'm not joking, like we arrived at like 8 in the evening or something. The warmth hit us like a wall. Jemima even said, she was like, do they call this air? Like, are we meant to breathe this? Like, it was so humid compared to what we were used to. And even like the whole time we were there, it was quite overcast. Like it wasn't really sunny, but it was hot. And it was so hot, and it would trick you as well, because you'll be in the room, and in our hotel you couldn't open the windows, and then there was air conditioning on, and like all the buildings are obviously really overly air conditioned, and so you'd look out the window, you'd feel a bit cold, and you'd be like, oh, it's a bit chilly out, and then you put like a cardigan on or something, you go outside and it's like like heat everywhere, and you're just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so that was that. But it was nice. It was nice to be able to like know, like, oh, I'm going to go outside and be warm, because I don't know if you are either from the UK, you'll know this, or if you visited the UK, you'll know this. The weather changes so much in the UK. Like, you can look out the window, you'll be like, oh, it's a lovely sunny day. You can't just go out just ready for a sunny day. You also have to take an umbrella, a raincoat, a warm jumper, big boots or something, because the weather just changes. Like the other day, I saw a lady walk past my window. It had been a lovely day. She was wearing a lovely summery top, little sandals, everything. It was chucking it down with rain. She had obviously made the mistake of going out not aware of the weather in England, and that it just changes like that. It can be really nice, just change, or it can be really cold and wet. The next time you look out the window, it's really sunny. It's so weird, but it's basically consistently a little bit cold and a little bit wet. But so that was sort of something to get used to. Yeah, on the first day we didn't really get very much done. We had a day to kind of like recover from our flight and to kind of get used to the time difference and stuff, and so we were prepared for the event. And we just sort of like chilled by the pool. Big B arrived with Sarah, and Choo Choo arrived. There was like a few people that arrived then, and so we got to hang out with them a bit. That was nice. The next day we went over to the venue to see what it was all going to be like. Met Jennifer Avery after so long of seeing her on Twitter and stuff, so that was really nice. She gave me an amazing picture. Once I'll go and grab it. And we are back. So this might be a little bit rustly. So Jennifer Avery gave me this amazing picture, so thank you so much for that. It's massive as well. It is. I have slightly creased it, and I apologise for that, but it did have to go in a suitcase on a 10-hour flight, so it did get slightly creased, but I haven't managed to put it up yet. I've got a few other things as well. You might have seen this from Ashley, like you might have seen it online at the time. I loved it, so thank you for that. Showing your artwork now. Crispy Crafts gave us, she got us all a bag of taffy, and I've not opened mine yet to try it, but everyone's saying how amazing it is, and like every time someone saw we had a bag of it, they were like, oh my gosh, you've got that. Apparently from Bucky's, apparently that's a thing, that's a known thing, like it's a really cool place, and this is meant to be really, really good. State Fair taffy, buttered popcorn, cotton candy, red licorice, and bubblegum. I really want to try the bubblegum. I think that's the thing I want to try the most. But yeah, we're going to give that a go at some point. I've not tasted it yet. Maybe I'll taste it one time on video. Oh, I got this, made this little thing from Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. And we got this picture. It doesn't have a name on it. I don't know who made this, but thank you all the same. And I've got this cute little picture as well. It's really nice. And I do have a letter for Stampy Cat. I have still got it. I've not seen him yet. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry I haven't passed it on yet, but I will pass it on. And the person who actually wrote that letter was wearing a Stampy Cat costume, which they made, which was absolutely incredible. But anyway, yeah, so we had gone to the venue, seen some people, and then we went to the Space Center, which was really cool. I actually got to touch a little bit of moon rock and a little bit of Mars, and that was really, it was really interesting. It was really cool. It was a nice day out, and it was quite cool to get to go there whilst in Houston, because that's sort of like, I don't know. I don't know whether that's just a really touristy thing to think of. Like, it's like, Houston, we have a problem. Like, it's like a known thing. So that was really cool to get to go there. And then we just sort of like hung out. The boys went shooting. They went to a place and went shooting. So that was a bit of an experience, because obviously in the UK, guns isn't really a thing. So we basically were tourists on Friday, massive tourists. And then on Saturday, we actually had the event. It was really cool. We mainly did meet and greet. So if I didn't see you at any point, if you weren't at the meet and greet, it means I won't have seen you. We didn't do really any stage stuff or anything. So unless you were at the meet and greet, you wouldn't have really seen us. We were like sort of tucked away in the corner, and we just sort of stayed there for the day. But it was really nice, because it meant we got to meet so many people. It's always my main priority at events, meet and greets. Like, obviously the stage stuff is always good for if someone they can't queue up, or they don't want to queue up or something, but at least then they've kind of seen you when you're on stage. But even if they don't get to meet you, but it's always really special. Like, meet and greets always, they just make my heart go all funny. I don't know, I get butterflies, and it's really, really special. And then Sunday again was the same. It was the same schedule, so it was the same kind of thing. Met a really cool family that interviewed us. They were really, really nice. So that was really fun. So you'll have to keep an eye out for their interview. When they do post it, I will put the link on Twitter or something so you guys can check it out. That was really cool. So the actual event was really good fun. Everyone had fidget spinners. That was the thing. That was the trend of the event. Everyone had one. And I never had one. I managed to go the whole weekend. But at the end of the day, they were chucking loads away because they were like broken or whatever. But the one I got, we fixed it. So it's like kind of like the petrol type one. And look how cool it is when you spin it. It like looks, oh, you can't really see it. It kind of goes, like, it looks like you can see, look how bad my nail varnish is at the moment. It's chipped. You can't really see, but it looks like petals. Like you can kind of see it a little bit. But yeah, I love it. But I was like, no, I'm not falling for that trend, what everyone's doing. But now I've got one. In fact, I had two, but I did give one away. Sort of did a trade with Niraj. But yeah, so that was my weekend in Texas, and then we flew back, and then that was it really. We're now back now, and that's it. And I've done nothing ever since. I have basically been a bit lazy and not really done very much, but we've been really, really tired, and I've done like a few odd bits, but not a lot. I've made a survival, I dropped my fidget spinner. I've made a survival world for fun, and I've just been like pottering about on that. That's been really nice. That was my day yesterday, and then now it's today. So that's been really cool. I don't think I'm going away again now for a little while. I'm seeing Zoe the pigeon soon. One thing I am going to mention, just like as a little downer thing, but I kind of feel like it's such a big thing that's going on at the moment that I kind of feel a bit weird not mentioning it, especially if I'm talking about my week kind of thing. Obviously, as we landed from the flight, we flew overnight and turned our phones on. We were still even on the plane when we heard the news about Manchester. And I just want to say, like, if any of you guys know anyone involved or anything like that, like, sending love to you all. It's a really, really horrific thing to have happened, and it's kind of one of those things, like, you can't really have, there's no words for it. It's more like a feelings, no words. I knew a girl who used to be a fan years ago. She's like quite a bit older now, but I've actually met her at an event. I met her at Nethermind, and she was working there and stuff, and she was actually one of the victims who didn't make it, and so that's like really horrible. It's a really scary thing. There's no words that could describe like the feelings, like even before knowing that I knew one of the victims. Like it's obviously a very emotional, horrible thing to have happened. And so if you were involved in any way, if you were there, or if you know of someone who was there, or even if you're just affected by it, just by the fact it's really scary, sending hugs to you all. Yeah, that's that. That's all I'm going to say on the downer thing. But yeah, that is the end of Rubbish Rambles this week. I hope you all had a lovely week and a lovely weekend. Let me know what you're getting up to. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.